Mel, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here. Just want to give a quick update on Bitfarms. Just made a video of it last night, but certainly things have changed today, hasn't it? With earnings, actually with Bitcoin going up, with IWM also breaking out, with CPI data being good, we are seeing a lot of different things over here, and I was showing a lot of indicators that was leaning bullish, and a lot of people were losing respect for me because price has gone down so far and you have horrible news coming out. How can you be bullish? Are you trying to bring the sheeps to get slaughtered? Is that what you're trying to do? I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just showing you indicators. I honestly don't really care what you think. But these are 2 week candles. Each candle represents 2 weeks worth of price action over here. You can see that so far we're forming a very nice like hammer looking candle over here. Right? Not a perfect hammer, but this leaning hammerish. These are generally pretty important, pretty good looking bottoms. Just like it was over here. You have another, hammerish kind of bottom over here. Have a very nice hammer bottom over here, right? So these generally are very, very good bottom looking candles. Now, I like hammer bottoms. Some people say like inverted hammers are also potential bottoms. I don't find the inverted hammers to be that great of bottoms, to be honest with you. Here you have inverted hammer, didn't bottom, you know. Here you have inverted hammer, didn't bottom. Here you have inverted hammer, didn't bottom. But these nice hammer candles, though, they generally serve pretty decent, bottoms over here. I do want to show you, so if you look at the Ichimoku cloud, I'm going to put the cloud broken inside the cloud on high volume, and really it's just been consolidating around the inside the cloud, right? Increase in buying pressure, declining sell volume, increase in buying pressure, declining in sell volume. Now this decline in sell volume is particularly brutal because it's going on for about almost like 2 or 3 months straight. It's just been straight down on declining volume. You can have non-committal selling that goes really, really far down, and that's what Bitfarm is doing, is having a lot of non-committal selling, but it just keeps on going because you're just having a hard time finding buying pressure. There's been a little bit of a buyer strike over here, maybe because since March there's been an announcement of a leadership change with the CEO stepping down. They're going through an executive search for the next CEO, and it's just been kind of lingering on, and also the overall like the market sentiment also wasn't really really good during this period either, right? But until you're seeing these very nice hammer bottom, especially this one over here, I wonder whether or not we're bottom. Now, I don't want to speak too fast because we still have 2 trading days, and Bitcoin is a volatile asset. I don't want to jinx it. Next thing you know, it may not form a hammer. Who knows, right? But even if it doesn't form a hammer, I'm going to get rid of the Ichimoku cloud here. I'm going to show you the Super Ichi cloud, which is a version of Ichimoku cloud that takes into account of the super trend. If you look at Super Ichi cloud, it compresses the Ichimoku cloud more. And what you're really seeing here is a very, very clear picture. Like price tried to break above the Super Ichi cloud twice, was not able to do that. Had trees are top over here. These trees at the tops are kind of nasty. When you see that, they really signal potential trend reversal on a short term. And sure enough, it just went down, bam, 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 like, 6 candles showing here so far red, right? But it actually finally got to the bottom of this Tsubishi cloud over here, bounced very impulsively actually after earnings, right? So you're able to finally find some demand over here. You're finally having some little bit of buying pressure over here. This candle over here is going to close by Friday, by the end of Friday. We are still below the Kijun for the CPG cloud, so that could potentially be a little bit of resistance over here. But so far, I like the look of this. Like, this is not by any means I was going, oh, there's a big giant green candle coming. There's no guarantee of any of that. It's just trying to find demand, and right now we have a couple really nice wicks over here, and we have a very, very long, nice wick over here testing the bottom of this CPG cloud. So all of these are very, very nice development in terms of if you want to try to find a bottoming behavior, you want to look for declining volume in terms of selling, you want to look for the bottom of these wicks, right? Like right there, that could have been the trees at bottom, but no, it just decided to go down in violence and just form a big giant wick down and bounce back up. Again, depends on how Friday closes. If it ends up closing similar to that, this could be potentially a very, very bullish development, right? But some people don't want to hear that. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just showing you what I'm seeing. If you go back to the monthly, also looking like a, pretty, potentially pretty decent hammer kind of thing look over here, right? It's not really like a hammer, but it's got the look. If you look at the Bollinger Band, 20-month moving average is still crawling up. And we have a very nice wick that got close to a rising 20-month moving average. Actually, I was wondering when are we going to end up testing it. It could still test it. It's not over yet. It could still test it. Who knows? But like so far, it looks like it's got close to the 20-month moving average, and this would have been relatively decent support anyway because it's pointing up. Right? You don't really quite have that impulsive Bollinger Band expansion like you would for a bull market, but looks like it could be a start of one. It's just kind of stretching the Bollinger Band here up here for a few months ago, and price just kind of consolidating a little bit for a little bit long here. So you end up having a little bit of a curling, a little bit more of like a contraction of the Bollinger Band here again. But the trend is still up. It's still overall forming more higher highs and higher lows, and it's being reflected over here by a trend change by 20 moving average, starting to quote turn from down sloping to up sloping here. Right. So that's a pretty decent development over here. Now, if you look at the Ichimoku cloud here on the monthly, it's not going to look very pretty, is it? You had a bullish cross that happened in April, but price right now is below both the Tenkan and Kijun. Who knows? Maybe it just takes a little bit more volume, kind of like this. Maybe it just takes a little bit of volume to kind of push price up higher, bounce from that, and go up higher, right? I do want to say this. You have a big giant green candle over here of high volume, and the bears have been spending months number 1, 2, 3, 4, and now number 5 to try to reverse this big giant green candle over here. They have been unable to do so, and we're seeing more bullish formation that's being formed over here. We are also seeing that it's kind of trying to find support around this big volume shelf over here as well. Now, there's going to be a lot more resistance to go through. Now, don't get me wrong, right? But sometimes all it takes when you have declining volume right there on selling, when bears try to spend 5 months trying to reverse this giant green candle over here, if they're unable to do so, the next move could be pretty... How should I say that? I'm not going to be too bullish because people don't want to hear it. So I'm just going to say it's going to be interesting. What are the whales doing? What are the whales doing? Let's see what the whales are doing here. What are the whales doing? Let's look at fintel.io. The whales said, forget you bears, we're going to accumulate. And right now, the institutional ownership for Bitfarm is not that high. It's not like in the 40s, like Mara or CleanSpark, but it's still pretty decent. 23, 24%. Are we seeing this correlate with the black cat indicator? Yeah, we are. It's going up. Price goes down, whales coming in. What do you think is going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen. You make up your mind. You do have a lot of resistance above though, so I do want to say, hey, we may not be out of the woods yet. We might not even have bottom yet. The candle's not closed yet. The month of May is still not done. We may not have bottom. But there are a lot of things that are looking nice. But there's still a lot of resistance above. So we'll see what happens. But I do think that overall, there are a lot of things that are kind of building up behind the scenes that are really showing some pretty interesting, potentially bottoming behavior. I'm going to pull up the moving averages over here. 20 is still about 50, is still about 100 on a weekly. So this is still technically a bull trend. It did get a little bit rejected by the 50 so far, and that's going to potentially be resistance. Like we're basically just getting the right slam into the 50 over here. 50 is still upsloping though, so I'm not sure how strong a resistance 50 is going to be. But yeah, in 20 is still pointing down, so I wonder whether or not that's gonna be potentially the resistance, right? But again, it wasn't really good, very good support over here, so who's there to say that it has to be very, very strong resistance over here, right? Still coiling the right way, it's still a bull trend, right? This bull trend is being developed for really for like a year and a half now because it's just for the most part being forming more highs than lows, and you can reflect it, you can see it over here. Like this is a bull trend because of that. But unfortunately, Bitfarms does not look as bullish as Mara. And there are a couple of things I can show you as to why I would say that. One is if you look at the VWAP, the volume weighted average price, you do it from the cycle bottom, you actually see a little bit of resistance up here. Like you got rejected over here, back to rejected, right? And now like there's a lot of different headwinds, including volume shelf, including the 50 moving average, including 20 moving average, including volume, weighted average price. So I'm by no means saying that this is we're out of we're clear, right? Like by no means am I saying that. But gosh, look at the 2 week over here. Like it just looks nice. So again, by no means am I saying that we're out of the woods, but when you have something like this where it just keeps on going down, 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 down on decreasing volume, the lower it goes, the better reward you get, right? And the less likely I would want to sell over here. So there are a lot of things that are kind of going in his favor. Now, if you look at some of the momentum indicators, you can see kind of what it's been doing. It's like I alluded to the video from yesterday. Again, you have price basically just kind of gone from like $1 to like $1.60, $1.70 over here, right? Right now it closed at $1.80, 85. But even though price has gone up significantly, RSI has actually gone down. Right? It went from like 45 and then went down to like 43, right? So pretty nice hidden bullish divergence that's been happening. So a lot of bullish energy is being built up using this move. You had unfortunately, you had a bearish divergence over here. That had already played out. I mean, like, that's already played out even over here. And it just kept on going down further. So, if anything, you're just building a lot of these kind of bullish, hidden bullish diversions that are probably what's going to happen and is probably what's going to end up playing out next. I was showing you this chart here yesterday on the daily, and I was showing you not just the RSI, but also showing you the unbalanced volume. And I was showing you something that is pretty interesting that has been building up a lot of bullish diversions. And you didn't really see that on the entire way down. Like this is the first time I really see that bullish diversion has been building up between price, right? Price went down from here to there, right? We gapped down, right? But RSI actually went up, and so did unbalanced volume. When you finally have some bullish divergence, these are generally how things start to bottom. When you see something like this, it gives you more confidence that this could be closer to a bottom than a top. And another thing I want you to pay attention is also, guess what? All these things that are happening over here, what's been happening over here too? Buying volume going up, right? Sell volume kind of going down. You had some pretty interesting buying volume over here. This buying volume over here has reversed the volume over here for the gap down by a lot. So there has been increasing buying energy that's finally coming in. The buyers are finally step in. I'm hoping that we finally, because of this bullish divergence, we might finally end the buyer strike, because the entire time going down is on low volume. It doesn't mean that people are selling. It just means that there's a little bit of selling pressure. They're very sensitive because there have been a buyer strike, and the buyers have been waiting for a good price. Buyers have been waiting for something to happen. Looks like they're finally maybe starting to come in. All right, I've talked enough about Bitfarms. Thank you so much. Bye.